one to get into at some point because that's what led us in the underground projects to say, man, if we can have tissue and titanium to be together, and I can make your bone tissue and titanium, you're going to be pretty strong, Dave. It's going to be hard for me to break that bone. And then add stem cells to that and platelet-rich plasma, which increases bone density up to sometimes 10 times.
Wow.
Your own bone. Keep that in mind.
So that sounds a lot like Wolverine in the X-Men movies.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's osseointegration, where they just basically, made him all these steel protective plates, but he also had a super ability to heal very quickly.
Right.
And that's the secret. That's what they all want to know.
Okay, yeah, this is more X-Men talk. Last week we had Erica Frost and Night Pants, Nightcrawler. Now it's this Weapon X stuff. What is this guy talking about, Rob?
Sounds awesome, right? They said they're gonna make Wolverine, dude. Or they can, we
have the technology.
It's
the
out there
now, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's out there. There's metal skeletons out there. They can turn your skin.
People out there.
They could turn your skin into metal. Okay, like you're a mixture between
skin. He said. I thought he's like
like
exoskeleton. I don't know, some kind of skeleton. He's gonna make it into a. I don't know. But he puts a stem cell on and some metal and sticks it in your bones. I'm not messing with this guy.
Your own bone. Oh. That's what I liked when he said. It's like, your own bone. I was hoping that would be a sound clip.
He's already 1,000 times more charismatic than Corey Goode. Like I said, you're not going to hear any Corey Goode in this Corey Goode episode. Dude sucks. This Emery Smith guy, he's actually pretty good. I appreciate you bringing this guy up. But Emery Smith, he goes on in this interview to describe his work life in these government facilities where he was given alien tissue samples to examine or identify. Here he is talking about that mess.
And I was just there to label and take small samples and put them in these different types of jars and vats and containers, which I would then push through a drawer in a wall, and someone else would take it, and that was it. So I was basically taking tissue samples from whatever piece of tissue it was. Some look like salmon, some look like, I don't even know, can't even explain it. But then every 3 to 6 months, you get a upper security clearance.
Yeah, it looks like salmon.
Yeah.
That's it. The guy's looking at salmon and the aliens. But the good thing is, it's like a video game to him because every couple of months he gets a few more levels up in security, so he doesn't have to. What is he talking about, Rob? Well, you love this?
Have you ever heard anything like this before? Dude's getting salmon samples and he's putting it in the wall. Like he's got a little compartment in the wall that he just puts it through. He cuts it into pieces for them. Like
who's over there looking at this? What are they cooking it after? What is he doing here?
I don't know what is going on. And they're
making it into cat food.
Right?
I'm totally with you, Rob. Yeah. I mean, I find him fascinating. His stories, like he's somebody that I actually find to be pretty credible because like of all the things to make up, you hear like an incredible story of Corey and how, the 20 back program, the 20andMe program. And he's got like, it sounds really like just completely fantastic and like, what the hell? But then you hear somebody coming up with this, account of like, yeah, I was a scientist and this is what I did. That's not usually the kind of thing you hear people making up.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely 20 and back and having to just touch meat for 20 years or whatever. Alien samples. So what he's saying is they're giving him these weird samples and I don't know, he plays with them for a little bit, sticks them in a wall, and then he gets more security clearance because he does a great job. And to appease Rob, here is Emery Smith, whistleblower, talking more about alien tissue samples and salmon.
So once you actually see these salmon fillets, you said it started with salmon fillets, but then you upgraded at some point to like an arm with a hand. What was the time interval between salmon fillets and arms and then eventually full bodies? Could we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, that took about, I think, 16 months. I mean, it happens fast because they go through so many people. They do. And I really wanted to learn this. I was so captivated by it. So I did what they wanted me to do. And then it got, more and more stranger. And I would get better and better samples. And it was frustrating because, you're not allowed to ask, well, what is this from? Where is it? Or how did you get it? Or you're just there to do the sampling and get out, And then once the bodies came, that was probably after maybe 10 months. Yeah. when like partial bodies, not full bodies. I didn't get full bodies till way at the end, and then I got out because I got emotional about it, I guess.
Okay. Way to bring it up with that. Yeah, so he gets upgraded. He gets enough security clearances where he's going on from salmon. He's got a piece of a hand of an alien and an arm.
But what is the time interval between salmon fillet and arm to full body?
16 months.
Oh, I know. But
16 months.
It's such a strange thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of months. This is the
16.
longest video game I've ever heard of.
It's gross.
Why does it take so long?
But he finally gets to the end, and then he gets all emotional about it. He's like, I didn't want bodies. Bring the salmon back.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know about this now. Once he started getting bodies.
Yeah, you guys, I'm really hungry, and I would really appreciate if we stopped talking about salmon right now.
Okay, fine. But wow, Cosmic Disclosure. This is a great show. Go check it out. 17,000 seasons of this. This is all waiting for you, and yoga too. But
17,000.
Rob, you mentioned to me that you find his whole story very Phil Schneider-esque. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, his whole story, it reminds me of like a mixture of a whole bunch of things. It reminds me a lot of
Dr. Schneider.
It's kind of like a Phil Schneider vibe to it, how he's got these stories about like different levels of clearances in the underground military bases, the DUMS. But then there's just also all these other things. Like he reminds me a lot of who's the other guy who was on Rogan recently who was really popular?
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar, yeah. He kind of reminds me of Bob Lazar a little tiny bit also, with just his style, because I don't know, he's a little bit more elaborate than Bob Lazar, and I guess he's not as preachy as Phil Schneider, but the inside scoop.
He's a happy medium.
Yeah, he's a happy medium. Like the inside scoop that this guy has when he's talking, like there's some other parts where he was talking about the hands of these things and like all the different types of hands that he's seen.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about Phil Schneider's messed up hand, the way he's talking about every kind of gross
Just
hand.
messed up everything.
He goes, at one point he's like, the insectoid hands. Whew. You don't even want to see the insectoid hands. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's what I was getting all this confused with. That's now that I think about it. See, I told you guys I'm really, really terrible with the names, especially Bob Lazar, because every time that I hear his name, I just hear how bizarre.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar.
And so back to these guys. Look, it appears that, of course, this is, like I said, go check this out on Gaia. And then Corey and David, they are now the rock stars of this Gaia network and all things secret space programs. They have this hit show. They get to go make money on the lecture circuit. They do this thing called Contact in the Desert, where they do that famous Bumpin' Mics talk that we played last time, where they go back and forth. They talk about all things SSP. They've got the Blue Avians on lockdown. That is completely their property. Everything's going great, right? Well, they are not without their retractors. And a big one was that guy, Bill Ryan, who we talked about earlier from the Project Avalon forums.
Son.
Yes, my son, Bill Ryan for Project Avalon. This is where Corey had first appeared. And here are some excerpts from a post by Bill Ryan titled "The Truth About Corey Goode." Here we go. And Bill Ryan states, Corey first came to our attention as a problem before Christine Anderson's 2014 interview with him was published. He had been active behind the scenes by invitation in investigating the Jesse Ames affair. He sent some messages in the middle of the night that he denied any knowledge of. Our very strong but unproven suspicion was that he had indeed sent them, but had done so in an altered or split-minded state, and in the morning had no memory of what he'd done, though everything was there on his computer and that of another person. Okay, so someone named Eiley Pandia, who, like Paul, he knows a lot of technical geeky stuff about computers and the net. They looked closely at some of Corey Goode's statements, and it raised a flag. It raised a flag that
I just like this black
is a
flag.
regular flag, a regular colored flag.
Well, I'll say it's a black flag because they found out that there was absolutely no way that he was the IT expert that he had claimed to be. I mean, this is the first step. If you're going to take the guy down, maybe start with his claims of even being good at computers. So they say that simply wasn't true. He didn't know anything about that. And this was the first time we'd realized there was a definite proven problem and that Corey had been lying about his expertise. Okay, kind of a weak way to start, going after his expertise.
That was the first time.
It goes on. Further problems appeared that same month when it became known that Corey was quote-unquote counseling over 30 Malabs, those military abductees, despite being quite unqualified to do anything of the sort. The forum has a duty of protection, as Malabs are real people with often real and very serious problems that need the most expert help. We didn't know who all these people were, as Corey was doing this behind the scenes, using the forum as a kind of catchment area. We received a report from one person, a current forum member, who'd been shocked, appalled, and angered that Corey had totally and sensationally misrepresented her story to myself. And that's all documented, okay? And then Corey's wife, Stacy, joins this forum. This is all forum. It's weird. This guy took over a TV network and all this is like forum flaming from like it's so weird. So Corey's wife, Stacy, joins this forum with the username Silver Phoenix, which is a lot cooler than whatever he was. Cool Dude ET, XSP, whatever
Good
he was.
ET.
Yeah, Good ET. Indeed. Silver Phoenix, lot slicker. And all her posts can be searched for. For reasons unknown, she made an incorrect statement in the forum that Bill Ryan, this is the voice of Bill Ryan, that I'd been a member of the Church of Scientology. She cited the wrong Bill Ryan in her research. An American, an older person, and certainly not myself. This Bill Ryan guy is like
another
a younger
Bill
British.
Ryan? How many Bill Ryans are out there doing this? What is going on?
I don't know.
Do you really want the answer to that? We can find out.
So we know now
there's probably a lot.
There's an old white dude who's a Scientologist named Bill Ryan. There's Bill Ryan, the guy who runs this Project Avalon thing. There's my son. Who knows how many more we have. And Bill Ryan says, I edited her post to correct it because he's not going to let people saying he is a Scientologist. And he says quite mildly, but as circumstance would have it, I was already late for an appointment and had to leave before I could PM her to let her know why I'd made the edit. What? This is very, okay. He says, I returned 4 hours later to find that all hell had broken loose and that she was protesting. She'd been censored from calling the guy who runs this site a Scientologist. So, of course, Corey took her side in the ensuing fracas, while Stacy continued to vent very much out of control. In one of her several very long posts, she revealed that Corey had been in extensive contact with higher authorities, one of whom was a senior member of the Church of Scientology, which might raise an eyebrow or two, and that she was going to assemble a dossier on me and one other unnamed person that extended to over 70 pages. So now the wife is involved in this early on, just like this drama that we're going to see in the background of this guy, Corey Goode's life. It's weird, right?
God.
Yeah.
Just all this shit just going on in like internet forums, like angry, like such drama and craziness, just angry typing. All on the internet, though. Nothing physically ever going on. Like, what's going on here?
Because they're cowards.
This is a drama. I think this is secret space program people. They just love drama, and it's in their forums. It's anywhere. But this is more from this Bill Ryan thing, man. He says Bill Ryan's going on. He says what happened after that was Corey opened a blog page, now taken down by him, but all of which has been archived, which was brimming with falsehoods in a deliberate, concerted attempt to smear Project Avalon publicly. Coincidentally with that, he was now talking with David Wilcock, recounting a suddenly highly polished, enhanced, and embellished version of the hesitant and fragmented story he had told Christine. I wrote to David to warn him of this documented history, but David was not interested. And Carrie also tried to warn David, but that too was not needed. So this was going on during that whole courtship of David, where David is trying to get him, and the forum guy's like, no, he's mean. He told me a Scientologist and all this stuff. This is the drama surrounding this. This is this just community. You gotta love it.
What a bunch of babies. They're just so like, look, I think what it really comes down to is that these people don't get enough like actual social interaction. So when there's anything like remotely scandalous that happens in their community, they're just like on it.
This is like don't F with cats for losers. And the post goes on. It says, I have correspondence from one person who claimed to be Intel connected. This is unproven, and there are reasons to doubt this, which is entirely another story. That Corey had, in January of 2015, been recorded under surveillance without his knowledge or permission and had been planning with Stacy in their home what story to invent